A beam of light shining at One World Trade Center. No, not the annual tribute in light. This. A man in New York City named Ben Sterner posted this photo on Twitter, showing an unusual beam of light reflecting off the tower. This sight comes just days before the 15th anniversary of the September 11th terror attacks. Sterner, a self-professed amateur photographer, told the media the light was there for about 10 minutes.
U.S. President Barack Obama's administration has so far offered Saudi Arabia over $115 billion in arms and military training. That's according to a report by U.S.-based think tank, the Center for International Policy. The weapons offers are the largest any U.S. government has ever made during the 71-year U.S.-Saudi alliance. The offers have been made to Saudi Arabia since Obama took office in January 2009. They include a broad range of weaponry, including tanks, attack helicopters, air-to-ground missiles, missile defense ships, and warships. Rights groups and some U.S. congressmen have recently criticized the White House for providing armaments to Saudi Arabia, especially after a spike in the number of casualties in Yemen.
Police and communities are on alert as mysterious clown sightings continue to spread throughout the Southeast. The sightings began more than a week ago in Greenville, South Carolina. Since then, there have been more sightings, but in a different state, North Carolina. While police say dressing as a clown is not a crime, trying to lure children into the woods is, which some of the clowns reportedly have tried to do.
An 8-year-old boy has had a restraining order filed against him.
His mother says he's not allowed to attend school or leave his home without risking arrest.
8-year-old Peyton Whitehead started his day like any other at Hillsborough Elementary School until a sheriff's deputy showed up and had him removed from class, serving the third grader with what's called an ex parte order of protection, basically telling him to stay away from the kids who live a couple doors from him.
The cop told me that my son is not allowed to attend school now.
He can't even go back to his elementary school.
He cannot go to school.
Because of that order?
Yes.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know what to do. I have to wait till a court date.
The neighbor who filed the court order says he was surprised the judge signed off on the order against the 8-year-old, but he also adds he took action because of threats the 8-year-old made against his children. So now Peyton Whitehead is getting a legal lesson from Jefferson County that's way beyond the third grade, essentially ordering him to stay home.
He explained that if he did ever have any contact with them as he's riding his bicycle or anything like that, that they would have to come and put handcuffs on him and put him in juvenile.
Your 8-year-old son?
My 8-year-old son, they would arrest.
Chicago is suffering through its bloodiest summer in decades. Over the weekend, 65 people were shot, 13 killed. Today, the police superintendent said he's doing all he can to fight gang violence, but he said it's not a police issue, it's a society issue.
The 65 people shot in Chicago over the Labor Day holiday weekend included a woman 9 months pregnant shot in the abdomen, a pastor shot in the face, an 80-year-old man shot in the head, as well as several teenagers. A weekend so bloody it surpassed earlier holiday carnage on Memorial Day and the 4th of July. The victims were found on sidewalks, in driveways, on street corners, and in city parks. Pat, she didn't want to give her last name, was an eyewitness.
I just basically saw a guy drive up in a nice car and jumped out, started shooting towards the park, and once he finished, he took off.
In other parts of town, a victim was murdered as he was driving, another as he walked his dog.
I'm frustrated. The city should be frustrated. And frustrated that the people who commit these crimes just don't care who their actions affect.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said there was a surge in violence from Sunday to this morning because of youthful gang reprisals for petty insults or juvenile arguments. Most offenders this year have been between 15 and 24 years old. Johnson said his officers need help.
We need the people in the community to do the right thing, because as long as they stay silent, then the people committing these acts feel empowered to continue doing it.
Chelsea Manning has announced she's going on a hunger strike.
The transgender soldier is imprisoned in Kansas for leaking classified information to WikiLeaks, and she says that she will be on that hunger strike until her treatment at Fort Leavenworth improves. She was convicted in 2013 of leaking more than 700,000 secret military and State Department documents. Manning says that she will not consume anything besides water and prescription medication.
A man being called the worst person in New York City has been arrested. Here's what happened. It's all caught on surveillance video. A man followed a 94-year-old wheelchair-bound woman into a store and stole some $600 from her bra. Do you see that? He just walks up and swipes it. The woman, Maria Vasquez, says her gut tells her that the man had been watching her withdraw money from an ATM, then followed her into that clothing store and committed the brazen crime. It's unbelievable. She said the $600 was Social Security money that was supposed to pay her rent and other bills.
It's the Muslim festival of Eid, or Bayram, across the Muslim world, and women have been shopping for days to find the perfect outfit for the occasion. The varied styles and designs at affordable prices have made Istanbul a mecca for Islamic fashion. Istanbul-based Modanisa.com, the leading Islamic fashion website in the world, is seeing sales surge, and in part due to France's ban on the burkini. The growing choices and functionality of the apparel is becoming more popular amongst non-Muslims, says Franca. According to recent reports, Islamic fashion is expected to grow to a more than $300 billion industry by 2018.
In one of the most blatant pieces of propaganda in U.S. history, the Washington Post wants to sell America on the idea that the upcoming rigged elections by Obama and the DHS will be blamed solely on Vladimir Putin.
Of course the elections will not be rigged. What does that mean?
This is a kind of fundamental attack on the country itself, the underpinning of it, that somehow or another it's rigged or it's not fair. People, you know, some people will believe that. The truth of that is, Chuck can attest to this too, by and large, American elections are pretty much on the up and up.
The Washington Post writes, U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies are probing what they see as a broad, covert Russian operation in the United States to sow public distrust in the upcoming presidential election and in U.S. political institutions. The aim is to understand the scope and intent of the Russian campaign, which incorporates cyber tools to hack systems used in the political process, enhancing Russia's ability to spread disinformation. The effort to better understand Russia's covert influence operations is being spearheaded by James R. Clapper Jr., the Director of National Intelligence. This is something of concern for the DNI, said Charles Allen, a former longtime CIA officer who has been briefed on some of these issues. It is being addressed. The official cautioned that the intelligence community is not saying it has definitive proof of such tampering or any Russian plans to do so, but even the hint of something impacting the security of our election system would be of significant concern, the official said. It's the key to our democracy that people have confidence in the election system. Let me get this straight. The American people are to place the future of our country in the hands of National Intelligence Director James Clapper, the same man that blatantly misled the American people when he lied to Congress regarding the total dragnet our intelligence community wields on the supposed protections of our Bill of Rights.
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly.
Now, why do you say he was lying there? Because the letter that he sent to Congress admitted that they roam through the content of phone calls and the content of emails and the content of text messages without a warrant, in direct contradiction to what he said to that Senate committee.
I do think that when history looks at this, they're going to contrast the behavior of James Clapper, our National Intelligence Director, with Edward Snowden. Mr. Clapper lied in Congress in defiance of the law in the name of security. Mr. Snowden told the truth in the name of privacy.
And the DHS is going to overrule powers given to local and state governments to manage their own elections under Article 1, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, not to mention the powers afforded states in the 10th Amendment, simply because DHS claims to be able to provide ironclad cybersecurity. Thousands of DHS employees were subjected to, as WorldNet Daily recently reported, the theft of Social Security numbers, dates of birth, residencies, educational and employment histories, personal foreign travel histories, immediate families, business and personal acquaintance details, and other information used to conduct background clearances. A mountain of evidence containing decades of collusion between our government and an elitist banking cabal sits collecting dust. Meanwhile, the American people are supposed to believe with zero proof that a foreign government will hack our elections, and that for the first time in U.S. history, the electoral process must be hijacked by a dictatorial administration hanging on to the last remnants of its power before they are shown the door.